Siapa yang bunuh Nara?
Bunuh siapa yang bunuh dia? No, 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 no!
Bukan kerja amatur. Very clean job.
Nobody's perfect.
Okay.
I love you, you know.
Happy birthday to
Adakah Encik Bimal terdiri dari golongan orang yang percaya keamanan negara kita hanya tanggungjawab polis saja? Ataupun Encik Bimal percaya keamanan negara kita tanggungjawab setiap rakyat negara kita?
Alright, welcome to The Nation. I'm Tamina Kausji, and if you're wondering, that was Dian Vimal, the director as well as first-time producer of Temuan Takdir.
Okay, right.
Welcome to Studios, Vimal.
Thank you, thank you,
Alright.
thank you.
So how are you today?
Okay, pretty good, pretty
Okay,
good. Excited
great.
about the movie coming out.
Absolutely. Now, Dian, so you are a first-time director.
Right.
And Temuan Takdir is your baby.
Right.
So releasing in cinemas nationwide in August 2016.
Yep, August 11th.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So now, the question with you really, I think, is not how we start, but where do we start?
Right.
Because you're not just a director, but there is a whole host of other things that you do as well. Right.
Actually, the whole project of the movie project started as a Friends to Mankind project. It's called Project Dignity, in which we wanted to introduce people, open people up to working in different fields.
Okay.
It's a way of mentoring. So what we did is we take experienced crew and amateur crew, we put them together, and they start learning the business from beginning till the end, so they can cultivate skill and become truly contributing to the society.
Right. Okay.
So that's
wow.
what Project Dignity is. A worldwide effort in which we do a lot of mentoring. We do from everything. We take housewives who are interested in starting a business, teach them catering, do small scale. So the whole idea is to make people get to work, go to work, and to have a dignity about participating in the economy.
Right, and society as a whole.
Right. Which is the new way of charity. Actually, it's not charity; it is empowering people. So when this project came along, it was a beautiful project to do, and I've always been interested in filming. I've always had a background in making commercials and all that. So we just went with it, you know. So originally, it was a project I'm not supposed to direct. I just supposed to produce and oversee. And due to some circumstance, I ended up directing the movie, and it was
Right. Okay. So the opportunity came up and you went for it.
Right.
Right. Now, as you were mentioning, so you also have a background in fields as diverse as photography, even fishing, and so on and so forth. So why don't you just start it all off and get the ball rolling for our audiences who may be a little unfamiliar, and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I think there's very little to say about me, but one of the things I've had is one of my hobbies has been to learn. So every year I try to learn 2 new things.
Okay.
This has been doing for like 30 years. So I just pick up some new things and I learn. And part of that was photography, filming, editing, color correction, the whole thing. So I was doing this already.
Right. Okay.
As a rest, not as work. And then I've been running a production company for about 12 years where we do commercials, we do documentaries. So that has been going on. So this is not an unfamiliar territory. But movie is something else. Movie is it's a different beast by itself.
Right, a beast as you term it.
A beast. Actually, it's a beast. It's not difficult. It's just that it's probably got hundreds of stages that you have to hit properly. You can't miss a mark.
That's right.
So that has been an enormous ride, and I was lucky. I had very good cast. I got very good crew, and the making was very, very magical, and I think they'll see it when they see the movie, you know, how the movie came about. We had to rewrite the script on the set, and we have to do so many things, but one of the most amazing experience I had about this movie is how everyone came together to make it happen, and I think it will translate through that movie. So
right, and I think the trailer is a good little teaser about what we can expect.
what you can expect, yeah.
That's right.
I think it's a Malaysian product. It's a Malaysian movie. We are not doing super budget like American movies or other movies.
Right. It's not a summer blockbuster, but from what I saw, I mean, it looks impressive.
Yep,
looks arresting. I mean, I want to watch.
Please.
Right.
It is. But I think for the Malaysian audience, I hope they participate in encouraging creativity, encouraging people taking risk, encouraging people going for it, which is what this movie is about.
Right.
And which is actually the real success of the movie has already happened before even in the theatre, in the sense that we did mentor people, we did create new people.
Exactly, as you were saying, via the professionals working side by side with amateurs.
Right.
Now, what type of feel did that lend to your set, having pros and amateurs working side by side?
It had a very teacher-student relationship up there.
Okay.
So they were teaching, they were learning, and they were learning, they were teaching. So there was a very nice, I don't know, like a family atmosphere. That's what happened in the set. You know, there was no ego trips, nothing much. Everybody got together, and you will see some newcomers and people who've been coming up for the last few years. In this movie, they got their break, like Kamal and all. You will see their performances. I was very, very impressed.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'll play devil's advocate and just ask you. So you've got a set, you've got performers as well as, you know, professionals who are at the pro as well as the amateur level.
Right.
Now how does that work out on a movie set where scheduling, timelines, deadlines are everything? The whole family atmosphere, does that help you to hit your targets, to, you know, make what scenes you need to make, or does that slow down work?
No. What happened was everybody jumped on, but especially if you take Zaim, you know, it's a very senior actor. Vanita was on set, but Zaim was there a lot, and they are incredible. They know the business. They know how to support the director. They know how to make the scene work. So I did not encounter that at all. You know,
right? Okay.
I did not encounter that at all. Surprising. And
so
a very
sort of
pleasant memory making the movie, sorry.
Right, so sort of they led by example and everybody else sort of got
It's
on board.
actually one of the things I've really realized, maybe worth speaking, that you cannot replace leadership.
Right, okay.
In each field, you know, and
Food
when the
for
leaders are there, everything falls right. It's usually I think success depends on the leadership and how the leadership holds everything together, and in this set, it happened.
Right, okay.
We were lucky.
Now speaking more about the movie itself, now Temuan Takdir, what is it all about? It looked like an action-packed fest. Now what is the running theme?
Actually, there's two things. It's an action movie, it's a thriller. You'll be very surprised of things that happens in there. But within the scope of the trailer, we showed the human element.
Okay.
It is a police movie. It's about two police brothers.
Right.
But we are not showing the police as such. We are showing the human side of the police. One of my argument has always been is we should not dehumanize people. People are human. And if you ever want to know people, you want to know the human side. So in this movie, you'll see the human side of the policemen.
Right.
And also the human sides of the robbers and the thieves and what unfolds. So we wrapped it in action, but within you'll find a lot of meat of human drama, human emotion,
the day-to-day, really.
Day-to-day. So there's something real about people. You know, people are not just uniform. There's a man behind the uniform.
Right, yeah. I mean, the uniform aside.
Aside. So you get to see the human behind the whole thing. And it came out quite intriguing. I was very surprised. My daughter, who's in the States, came down. And so we had a small private premiere for the press. I thought she's not going to like it. She's 20-year-old. She lives in abroad. And she came back and she was...
Right, she was
that was
blown
my
away.
Success. I thought my daughters were just going to hate it. She said, "Whoa, I love it."
Right, I think as so many other things, we often, you know, depend on the pulse of the young to gauge something.
So, and she's a super critical, you know, and she's also one of my daughters. Also is a film student in Cornell. So, that's when I knew like there's something here.
Right,
it's not only for the adult. I think the youngsters are going to love it too.
Right, so a movie for all Malaysians, really.
Yep.
Now, I've got to ask you, so as you said, so you were initially going to take on more of a producer's role. Now, where did the where did the germ, the seed for this story, this idea come from? Because you can go all the way back.
Yep. There was a writer who wrote the script and he gave it to me, but I did not agree in many part about the thing. So what happened was, after we bought the script, I had to rewrite the whole script again.
I see.
And
you rewrote it.
Most of it. Me and my wife. We sat at nights and rewrote some of it.
Edited it with
the whole thing.
with the whole lens.
But the backbone of the story of the crime, the trailer, was the original writer. But then we wanted to fit it to Malaysian. I wanted it to have a message for Malaysian. Very simple message.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, the responsibility of peace, does it only lie in the police and the enforcers, or is it the nation and the people's responsibility? So one of the ways I'm evoking is that all of us must be an active participant in keeping peace in the country. So that movie will play that up very beautifully. It will leave you with a question, what is my role to keep this country peaceful? Like when we do projects all over the world, like Sweden, America, Canada, one of the questions we ask, we are trying to promote that we become an active participant, not an activist alone, active participant in keeping the world the way we want to keep it.
Right. And what is the way the world ought to be in that perspective?
It's like me keeping my house and my garden. I do it the way I want to keep it. I want it to be clean, beautiful. And I think everybody must know their responsibility for the outcome of our actions and our contribution. Even a judgment forces something.
Right.
Like this movie and the Project Dignity is one thing. I'm asking people in some ways participate in upholding other people growing.
Okay. Now that's real food for thought, I think. Now, I think on that note, tell us more about what Project for Dignity is. You said it's a worldwide initiative that you have started. What sparked it off, and how has it been faring in other parts of the world as well as Malaysia?
Actually, Project Dignity, it came when I was in New York City. I was walking around, and I was in Times Square, or Soho somewhere. I was walking, and suddenly African American man walked up to me and he said, "Respect, sir, respect." I said, "Okay, respect."
Okay.
He said, "I'm a street artist. I'm selling in the city. Would you like to buy it?" But no force. But the way he did it, he was selling something, but he was holding his dignity beautifully. And to me, that stayed in my head for a while. And I said, then when I kept looking at it, I was watching. All of us are looking for dignity. They mean self-respect. No, I want to be a contributor. I don't want to be taken care of.
Or a bystander.
Or a person who cannot effect. And that's how this project came about. The Project Dignity, which is the President's project, my own project.
Okay.
Friends to Mankind is a big organization, and there's a project where the President undertakes. So what I've done is to mentor anybody in any field that we are good at until it can translate to become an economically viable thing.
Right.
I think people are wonderful when they have pride. If you take that away, they become...
I cannot help but agree with that.
Yeah, thank you.
That's right. And if you teach them to fish, proverbially speaking.
Right.
Okay. So there you go. I mean, so far, I think Dian has given us a real nice little introductory summary as to what Temuan Takdir is all about in a nutshell. But we'll be back again after the commercial break with lots more, especially about the making of.
Right.
Stay with us. Welcome back to The Nation. Still with me, Tamina Kaushi and Dian Vimal. Now, Dian, so the filming for Temuan Takdir, as you said, it was a completely different experience
Right.
as compared to other productions you worked on.
Right.
Now, what really sticks out about the experience of directing a film for you?
Actually, directing a film is not I tell what I want and they give me. It's about what is the best that can happen on the set. Like we have a kind of a script, we have all the ideas what we want to shoot, but it still has to happen. So it's actually a direction is collaboration between many talents and bringing the best out of that moment, and also really knowing what your actor can do and just to push the boundary, you know.
Right.
Like directing Zaim was not really directing, you know. It was I'm telling Zaim, this is the scene, this is what I need, this is what I need. We rehearse a little bit, and then when he goes for it, I'm more like the cheerleader and the guy who like, I love that, I love that, I love that. And then sometimes I said, maybe not that, but I love this. So directing is, I think it's the art of bringing the best out of people.
Okay, I think in a nutshell you've put that perfectly.
Yep. It's not about, a lot of time people get this idea that I tell you what I want, and most movies you see is just the director playing different actor, and the actor is asked to play what the director wants to play.
That's right, just, you know, copying almost.
And it's just a single character playing. No, in this movie you'll watch, that was my privilege, kind of ushering in the most beautiful thing. But I'm the only one who kind of know where this cuts into, where that fits into. So that's my
you've
job.
got the master plan in your
master
head.
plan. Like I know this is going to cut to this, that's going to cut to that. This is how the emotion going to be. But I don't think you will see too much of my signature on the movie.
Okay.
You will see the signature of all of us in that movie. Everybody
got to contribute. In
There's
that
only
sense.
somebody will say, "Can I try this? Can I try this? You know, can I try this? Can I try this?" And like Tanuja.
Okay.
Oh my God,
that's right. I mean, she's beautiful, beauty queen, and she has been getting into
But she's-
hosting. How did she perform,
She's a
acting-wise?
darling. The one word for me for Tanuja, she's a darling. She's such a decent, beautiful, and that came out. No, she just came and she Master, I'll do this, and then she did her thing, and that was the privilege of this movie. And then Azura, we have Eri, we had Kamal. They all came and they threw everything they had to it, you know.
Right. They just poured their hearts out.
And my job is just to catch it. Hopefully nothing goes wrong. Hopefully the focus doesn't run, the jeep doesn't jam, and as long as I catch it. And like if you see Vanida Imran acting, whoa.
I mean, she's a stellar presence anytime she's on screen, anyhow.
She is a league of her own.
That's right.
She and Zaim are, for me, some of the treasures of our nation. These are the people that has to be truly recognized. As I'm describing to you, the whole directing experience was quite explosive, very tiring. We were doing like 15 hours a day.
Right, yes.
Very tiring. But there was few parts to the movie. Pre-production, that was the whole mind thing.
Right.
Production, which we are speaking about. Then we went into post. Post, I was all alone. And that's when the nightmare began.
That's where the sleeplessness really starts.
Yeah, you do like 15, 16 hours a day, you're editing. I did 16 different version of this movie, different cuts.
Oh wow, you had 16 cuts.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
And then
that's
the 16th one, I had two other editors helping me. Then finally I edited and finished that movie.
Right.
And then the 16th cut became, and then a boy named Kishan, Malaysian boy.
Okay.
Who's a musician, who did our score.
Right.
I think he was an enormous find. Young guy, 29 I think. Brilliant. He came in, and at the end, after what I did, he just took it to a whole new level and left it there. But the post was more harder than the...
That's right, because you're stitching together everything you saw.
That was, for me, that was my learning curve that as a director, where did I miss, where did I make a mistake? But then, very strange enough, everything came together at one point.
Right, and you're so hands-on, because I think it's quite rare to find a director out there who would also be doing the producing as well as the post with such an eye for detail. How do you think that has helped make Temuan Takdir a different movie?
You see, most movies are kind of like 4 or 5 people putting their hands together. They keep shaping the movie, so you can see there's always a warfare.
Yes, a little bit of a tug.
Somebody wants the lighting to win, somebody wants the music to win, somebody wants the cinematography to win. This movie, you will not see that.
Okay.
You will see a kind of an overall harmony, and it becomes an hour and a half that goes beautifully. Sometimes you're watching certain movie, I don't know what to watch for. Am I watching the cinematography? Am I going to I go to this movie to watch the lighting, or am I going to watch the acting? So they're all disjointed, you know. It's like a dress that is kind of fighting with each other. This you will see a harmony. So it will be a pleasant an hour and a half for somebody to pass through. But what people must understand, it is still an Asian movie, it's still a Malaysian movie. So it's for Malaysian.
Ah, right. So there you go. So that's exactly it. So it's a Malaysian movie.
Right.
And what does the movie want to really reach out and tell the Malaysian audience, and hopefully a much wider Asian and worldwide audience, about Malaysia?
I think, like, I have a lot of Western students, I have a lot of friends overseas. Like, I want to show actually, which is pretty cool being Malaysian. There's a lot of stuff happening here. We have lives, we have so much, and the most beautiful thing is all the races coming together. We are actually Malaysian, you know.
Exactly.
So
the identity, that's what it should be.
A reporter was asking me, will I make a Malaysian Indian movie, Malaysian Chinese movie? I said, no. I said, I will always make Malaysian movie. It's about Malaysia. It's about the people in Malaysia, and I think to a large extent that would be there. You'll taste Malaysia. You will taste Malaysia. Like, I go to France, I go to Sweden, I eat all kinds of food, but I still come back to Malaysia for my nasi lemak. So I want my flavor. I'm not making a Western movie. I'm not making a very typical movie. Which this movie has the quality of Malaysian. I think it's all the temperament of Malaysian. That's what I think.
Right, absolutely. So I think you've put that very well, because what people have to look forward to is not just the actors, but the story, really. Right. Okay, so now what we're actually doing is, of course, we're playing some production pictures, on-set pictures, and you've made a cameo appearance.
Yeah, you see what happened, we forgot to cast that guy. There was a small role of a man supposed to be a witness. They didn't cast him, so what happened, and actually earlier there's already a suggestion for me to play it. I was never interested in front of the camera.
Ah, right. Okay.
But then I said, okay, let me put my neck on the chopping block, and I'm directing all these people. So I did a small cameo.
See, right. Okay. Now, this, of course, is your leading lady.
No, she's not the leading lady. She's a supporting. Her name is Kiranjit. She's a general manager in a company, and actually she did me a favor. That role was, we had problem casting that role, and finally, first time actress, she stood up. This is Vanida Imran. She is brilliant. That's the only word I'll give it to her. She is just.
And in the movie, she plays Zazen, the title character's wife.
Right. She plays the title character's wife, and she's a very beautiful person to work with. Like Zaim, I cannot say enough. He came on board to help me. When I took directorship, I called him and said, Zaim, I've met him a few times. Will you help me out? Okay. I didn't even decide what we're going to pay him, and I just said, you help me show up to the set and shoot, and he was there all throughout, even now. And this is Kamal. This is a star in the making. This boy has a huge potential. His repertoire, his ability to assimilate the character is phenomenal. This guy was a good find for me. Right, so one to watch in Temuan Takdir, definitely. One to watch. This boy is to be watched. He's got such a latitude, and it's such a beautiful person to work with. As a director or a producer, you want to work with people that is easy to work with. So, you know, you want to stay away from the divas, and because it's still working. You know, exactly. You want the best of the work. He is definitely one of the guys to look out for. I think he's got a good bright future ahead. Bright future ahead. Okay, so now just to wrap it all up, any words of advice, any last words about the Malaysian industry and movies in general? You see, one of the things I would like to point out is this movie is actually a love movie, in the sense that we did it as a project dignity for people. I hope people will support that movie. That's right. And I hope they know that it was done, the success was before even the movie is released, you know. Okay. We achieved our objective, and I hope they will come and enjoy our sincere effort. And for Malaysian movie, I think we should make more Malaysian movie. There you go, more Malaysian movies. More Malaysian movie. And we should make it for an international audience, which is my next project might be, which I'm working on, my shoot in a couple of months, which is a Malaysian movie for the world. I want us to show the world our uniqueness. There's nowhere else. I've traveled all over the world. There's nowhere else like Malaysia. Absolutely. We have such a beautiful thing here, and one of the reasons I'm passionate about it, I want to capture it. I don't want to lose it. We have
right.
such a thing here that we are.
It's worth capturing, really.
Yeah. We have such a ease the way we live here with each other, and I hope we don't spoil it. I hope we don't take a hard turn and go somewhere else.
That's right.
So movies kind of, I think movies are to celebrate human lives and our beauty, and I hope the movies I make will do that, and this movie will definitely do that. It will celebrate Malaysians. That's what I think.
There you go. So this has been Vimal Dian. Make sure you catch Temuan Takdir when it comes out in cinemas. We'll be cutting to a commercial break, but right after we'll be back with Zazen Al-Bakri, star of the movie. Stay with us.
Bebaskan daripada rantaian dan belenggu penipuan bersama Toki. Ikuti gerakan kuasa pengguna.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Saya sebagai penaung Friends to Mankind dengan hati penuh bangga mempersembahkan sebuah filem yang sungguh menarik bertajuk Temuan Takdir. Ini adalah satu projek yang memberi pelbagai peluang kepada masyarakat muda untuk melatih dan menambah pengalaman dalam industri filem. Saya percaya anda akan menikmati tayang gambar ini yang membawa pesanan yang paling istimewa. Selamat menonton.
Kamera rolling. Action. Ini kisah dua kumpulan baik dan jahat, pertarungan antara keamanan dan kewangan, tentang yang sama haloba menentang keadilan, tentang nafsu dan pelbagai tahap pengkhianatan, das tempakan pertempiaran murni pengorbanan, tiba pula pemancing dengan.
Welcome back to The Nation with me, Tamina Kalji, and now we have in the studio, of course, Dr. Zazen Al-Bakri, director, actor, personality. All right. Welcome to studio, Zazen.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, Zazen, as we saw, now you play the title character for Temuan Takdir.
Well, I might disagree with that.
Okay, all right. You're most welcome.
I think it's very much an ensemble piece, you know, where everyone has their the whole cast has their thing. I think I feature a lot more than I expected to be, because I was initially meant to be a supporting character. But then as
As Vimal also already said.
Said that the script changed and it was being rewritten as we shot, and so yeah, then I ended up being more prominent character in the
right. And for once, I mean, it's been reiterated in other interviews as well. So you got to play not the bad guy for once. Now, what was that experience like for you as a performer?
Well, it's actually when I first started out acting on television, I played a lot of the good, you know, like the leads, good guys.
Right.
Like when I was much younger, and then there was one period when I'd shaved my head, and for some reason I got a lot of the bad guy roles. I think I looked like a
just fitting perhaps the archetype for the villain.
I guess maybe it's a goatee. I'm not sure, but
okay.
With this, I had to shave off. I had to shave this off because you don't have, not allowed to have beards and moustaches.
Yes, that's right, for the character itself.
In the police force, so yeah. So that was initially the first thing was to shave off. So to shave off the beard, which it was a bit. I said, do I really do I
it hit a little hard personally.
Yeah, I thought I was a bit. That was because I'm so used to it. So.
But did it help you to get more into character, the loss of the beard?
I think it is. I wasn't...
okay.
Yeah, it's so strange looking yourself in the mirror suddenly, and after you're used to seeing in one way. But so that was the initial
right.
Kind of just on the day of the shoot. But getting into the character, it was. I think the first day of shoot helped me a lot. It was I was kind of thrown into I didn't expect
to
the
deep end.
I suddenly was told, oh, we've rewritten it, and here's your new script.
Here's your new script.
And,
wow! On the day of shoot.
And it was like, what? And then I'm reading it, and then it was a scene I wasn't supposed to be in, and it's a scene at the crime scene.
I
see. It was quite a major scene with crane shot and extras, and that just having to do that, being thrown in. Sometimes when you're working on instinct, things start to happen, just sort of naturally, and I think a lot my whole kind of how I acted as the policeman in public, in the uniform, was informed by that scene, by having to do that scene.
Okay,
yeah. So it was kind of trial by fire kind of thing.
Okay, but
but it was fun actually.
Right. Now, well, you played a uniformed character for once. What would you say was the most interesting scene for your character in Temuan Takdir?
There's a scene which I have with Vanida, who plays my wife, and she's a wonderful actress, and with Eri, who plays my brother. It's about two brothers who are in the police force. And it's a breakfast scene, which I'm not in uniform.
Right.
And
plain clothes.
Plain clothes. I'm sort of at home and cooking breakfast for my wife.
Okay.
So it's kind of a very you see another side of you see him as ACP Rosan, who I play in official garb, and
that's right. You're just officious and in charge.
And then you see him the other side, when he's at home with his wife, and there was a bit of some of it was scripted, some of it was improvised. And it was a fun scene to do. There's a little cheeky bit in it as well. So
quite natural then.
Which Vanida and I kind of slipped in, it was fun when you're working with someone who and I've known her for quite a while. I've directed her before, so so it was fun. That's the scene I like.
Okay, so I have to ask you now. Of course, you've got the experience and the diversity of being a performer as well as a director, producer, etc. Now, which role do you personally have a stronger affinity towards?
I think I enjoy both. I really, it's a difficult choice. If I was given a choice, it would be really difficult.
Right. Let's say it's not a choice. Which what do you like about each?
I like surrendering to the acting.
Right.
And I enjoy playing characters rather than. So I don't usually like playing the lead. Actually, I like playing usually the more character roles, the cameos, and the sort of more maybe eccentric roles.
Slightly under the radar, but
yeah. So you can kind of like in a short space of time, you can kind of make a bit of an impact, you know, rather.
Right.
Whereas when you're playing a lead, you have to kind of pace yourself through the film, like which are the parts when, you know, the character comes out, and when you're
the audience expects a climax of
you
sorts.
can't be kind of full on the whole, you know, the whole way through the film.
True.
But with with cameos and with like supporting roles, you know, you can sort of, you know, sort of have fun with it, you know, with the and put some quirkiness in it, or you know, things. So I do enjoy that, and I do enjoy getting lost, like kind of playing people who are not like myself, or who are different from me, and I think they're different from me, like the criminal, like the villains.
Yeah, for example, right?
You know, not like me at all. So yeah, I do enjoy those roles. You know, like there's from the acting, and it's sort of surrendering. In a sense, surrendering is because there's a lot of other people. You know, you're doing your bit, but
that's right. They're involved in your process.
There's a director who's directing you. There's other people who are telling you sometimes even the boardroom and things like that. You have to follow what other people tell you. You know, you don't see yourself. So
true enough.
So like
exactly.
The Conti person has to tell you, your tie is wrong.
Yes, or it's
fix
to
this
decide
thing,
perhaps.
So that sort of like feels like surrender. Whereas with directing,
right,
it's really
you are that person.
You have to look at every aspect of the production. You know, like really you should know like everything that's going on, and because you're telling people what to do, and that has I guess more of a yes, in terms of a power trip. No, not exactly, but
right.
there's a kind of responsibility and a kind of satisfaction in when it comes out the way you want it, or close to. Rarely does it come exactly like you want it, but there's a kind of a satisfaction in knowing that your vision is being.
Perhaps the pressure is what helps it come together.
And I think I work well under pressure. A lot of people say they're quite amazed that I'm so calm when I direct.
Right. Okay.
I've been told that I don't. I have lost my like my temper a few times, but on the whole, usually I'm quite kind of. I work well under pressure.
Okay. So moving on from Under Pressure to ACP Roslan itself, the character. Zahim, what did you find about this character that was perhaps in common with who you are as a person, and also what was in opposition to who you are?
What's common to me? Oh gosh.
Did you have to dig deep to find the characterization for Roslan?
He's quite. I never see the characters as being very much. I don't. It's odd because I don't kind of. What is similar to me about him? In fact, I think he's very. If anything, that's the joy of being able to act other characters, because I think he's very, very serious, and he's very.
Yes, that's right. I mean, from the brief glimpse we got.
And he takes his job very, very seriously, and he's. Which I guess I do. I take what I do, my work very seriously, but I guess I can have a bit more fun.
A little more cheeky than he is.
That's why I like the scene behind the scenes, when he's at home with the family.
Right.
That he is a bit more playful and more, and then you get to see that side of him. Whereas when he's on the job, he's very serious about it.
Right.
He doesn't.
He's all work.
Yeah, he's work, and he's. I had a scene with and Dian was talking about people learning from the mind. He was talking about me and Vanida being the more senior actors in the thing. But I had a scene with Dato' Jalaluddin Hassan.
That's right.
And for me, that was like,
whoa!
I'm meeting the master.
That's right.
Like that he's. So that was I've acted with him before when we both played villains.
Ah,
so it's funny.
So quite a difference.
So this time, I remember the last scene. It was some years back when I was in a scene with him. We were both villains.
Okay, and this time you were both cops.
We were both opposing villains.
Okay.
And I think he held a gun to my head at the time. But this time we're across the table. As two police. He's the senior.
Exactly. So it's quite flipping the scene.
There's a respect which was there anyway because
right.
He's quite a
exactly,
figure
so
himself.
sit on your hands kind of moment, but you have to act.
And I was genuinely nervous, actually.
Okay, wow.
I think you can see it in the performance and during that scene.
Yeah, as we shall, I'm sure. I mean, you have to catch Temuan Takdir. Now, moving along from that, so the movie itself, as Dian mentioned, so there were, of course, professionals and long-standing authors like yourself on set, but at the same time, there were also absolute newcomers. Now, performance-wise, now tell us a bit about your experience working with the newcomers on set, acting-wise.
Well, a lot of my scenes were with Eri, who plays my younger brother, and he's great. I mean, I was asking him because he's played policeman before. This is the first time, so I was learning from him. So he would, I was learning things from him because he's played.
Everyone has an area of expertise.
So, so he would give me some tips and and I mean, I had to learn things like the salute and when you arrive and certain things so he was great. He was great to work with. He's very. I'm very impressed with the younger actors actually. They the two Kamal and who play the villains in the piece, and they're great.
Right.
I didn't have many scenes with them. I don't think I had any scenes with them. But watching them, they really went for it. They went. There's really, it's really. I don't know whether I'm sensing that when I was starting out, there was we weren't as sort of gung ho about. Maybe a bit
about the whole scene
about playing characters and really going for it, and I think in this film you can see that the younger actors are
they're really sparked by it.
And they're given I think that Dian gave them the opportunity to kind of explore the characters and things like that. So it's fun watching them, and it's slightly there's a comic element to it as well. So it's a crime thriller, so it's kind of there's serious bits, but there's also slight kind of.
Is it a laugh out loud kind of haha, or is it more of a subtle?
More subtle, I think. But the characters are quite. It's enjoyable. You watch the actors. I mean, you watch the characters sort of really. The actors are relishing in it.
I could see. I mean, just from the clips that we had in the trailer, especially, and some of those amazing shots that we saw.
Yeah,
well, what was it like
when I saw the film, in its completed, I was very impressive when you see the shots of KL and the shots, the drone shots and things like it's and some of I think the scenes of the shots of the crime scene.
I mean, I felt like I was watching any great episode of a crime series or
absolutely
crime drama.
It looks great.
It looks great. Okay, so on that we'll cut to a quick commercial break. When we come back, still with Zazen Al-Bakri speaking about Temuan Takdir. Stay with us. Welcome back to The Nation, still with me and Zazen Al-Bakri. So Zazen, now what do you think audiences are going to take away from Temuan Takdir upon watching it? You've already watched it.
Yes, I mean it's very watchable. It really is. I mean, at the pace, I really like the pace of it. It's you never sort of like, oh god,
let it
dragging,
go.
It doesn't.
So it's edge of your seat kind of engaging.
It's very you kind of like you want to know more, so it works on that kind of thriller basis. What's actually happening? You know, what's going on?
Right.
What's are they going to get? You know, so it does have that like, you know, you want to kind of follow.
Right. So
what's
you feel
happen.
curious. Yeah. I mean, I want to know who's this.
And I was in the so but you know, even watching it, it was like, oh, this is it has that sense. But it's not just the crime thriller. It's
right.
You know, there's a love story. There's the action in it. There's quite a lot within it. There's a like I said, there's a comic element as well. You know, which is fun. You know, keeps it light. The feeling, it doesn't get too heavy.
That's right.
It does at times get very. It tugs at, you know, the heartstrings a
that's
bit.
right.
You know, so
so they're playing, of course, the movie poster on the screen, Temuan Takdir.
Right.
With everyone who's really going to make an impact, role and character-wise.
You see, I think the poster really tells you it really is an ensemble. I think it's an ensemble piece where everyone, you know, even the smallest characters get a, you know, they get their spot in the limelight, per se. Their moment on screen, you know. So,
yeah, I think that's great, especially with trying to really raise the bar with how Malaysian movies wonderful behind-the-scenes shots. Any movie enthusiast out there who's watching,
that's the crime scene,
should be shivering in their shoes, wondering what the crime was all about. I think we all can't wait to know.
Azora's great in it as well. She's the who played the love.
The love interest.
Love interest.
Exactly.
I think it's her first film, and she's very good.
Exactly. So it does seem like it would have been a very hectic sort of shoot. How long did it take over all in? Were you there?
It was very fast. I think it's
all
just
days.
It was. I wasn't there all days, but it was quite fast for a film.
Right.
Know?
Okay.
And we did have. I did sort of tease Dian because we sometimes do one take.
Right.
And he'd be like, "Oh, that's fine."
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's, you know, he was happy with it, and we'd be
actors'
like,
dream come true.
Well, not really. You know, the actors like
or nightmare.
It's the first time that I've been working on it when the actors going, "Can we? I think we want to do some more. You know, can we do another take? You know, just you know, because usually it's you get at least 3 takes."
That's right. Exactly. A safety shot, etc.
Yeah.
etc.
So this time, sometimes I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? Don't you want to, like, you know? He'd but he said, no, got it. So
oh wow, okay.
So he was quite confident in what he was, you know. So that was good, you know. And like he's talking about leadership, that he had
exactly. He knew which shots he wanted.
Yeah, and but there were times when it was really. I call it a bit of guerrilla.
Guerrilla style
filmmaking.
Okay, right.
You know, so
sounds like fun as well.
Yeah, so you know, it's kind of like we'd work it out like then you know how the scenes were going to be done. So yeah.
So okay, so it was like a good little mix of everything.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and quite I think a group effort. Like you said, it was very much people. You know, came in quite selfless and you know, to help and to make it work, and you could feel that, you know, sort of sense of camaraderie, you know, within the production. Yeah.
So feel good crime thriller. Well, that's a first, I would say. Now, of course, I've got to ask you, being in the Malaysian industry for so long, what do you think the year has been like so far for the Malaysian creative industry?
Oh gosh, that's a very difficult question.
Okay, right.
I don't know how to answer that because, well, you know, I think when I was starting out, what's changed a lot is that there's so much more, and I'm finding there's so much diversity within what's being that's there for Malaysian audiences to watch from theatre, in film. You know, there's really is a variety. Whereas before, I think it was kind of when we were starting, when I was starting out, there wasn't really that much, and there wasn't really the opportunity and the choices that there are now. I think for younger people too. So, I mean, it was good being sort of in early days, sort of like starting out and sometimes creating spaces for people to for things to be done. But I think the kind of the variety. I mean, for example, with theatre, I think performing arts, I would go and see everything that was on in KL.
Right.
You know, when I was younger.
Okay.
Because you could.
Yes, there was a possibility.
You could actually, because there wasn't that much that was going on. So everything there was usually something on, like one thing on, like a month or something, or something. So
and it was the big thing.
And you'd go and see it, and then that was. But whereas now there's all kinds of things that
exactly.
and I miss a lot of things I don't get to see. Sometimes there's things that I want to see and I can't.
Just in KL itself.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah, so that's I think very positive, and I think.
And what about the audiences? What do they want today that they perhaps didn't want before?
That's always the question. I think.
Right.
I think maybe with some of the in terms of the content that's coming out, I think there needs to be it's worrying when people play safe.
Right.
And I think you can never tell what audiences want. So I think and giving, this also needs to be an encouragement in terms of when people do take a risk or experiment or do something different, that they should be encouraged. Even if there should be more of an encouragement, and rather than
be criticized or
be
just
criticized or be said, oh you should. Like stick to what is tried and tested and what's safe. That's
yeah, which is what I think is really interesting about Temuan Takdir. I think Dian Vimal's taken something that is what we slightly consider formulaic in Malaysian cinema, a cop drama, and turned it into something completely different. So
yes, and then completely his own vision. I mean, it really was. I mean, he took over. Like he said, he took over. He wasn't supposed to be direct. He took over, and then he turned it into his own vision. So, which was, that's what I think. What people you have to do. You
just have to go check it out.
And
right.
Yeah, it's. I enjoyed it. It's it has a few surprises in it as well. So.
A few surprises. Okay, CSI style or even more. Okay.
You have to go and watch it.
All right. Okay. All right, Zazen. So, any last words before we leave for the audience out there, for anyone watching us today?
Selamat Hari Raya.
Absolutely. Yes.
Maaf Zahir Batin.
Okay.
Go in 11th of August.
Yes.
Temuan Takdir in the cinemas. Go and watch it.
Right. Okay. So there you have it. From Dr. Zaim Al-Bakri and myself, Tamina Kausji. But basically what we'd also try and focus on a little bit, because we've still got a little bit of while to go. So Temuan Takdir itself, what do you think is the biggest takeaway somebody watching it cold would get?
It's the biggest takeaway. I think I think people will be expecting to see something, and they'll get something. They'll get
something
that
different.
They'll get that and more,
and a little more,
and a little more. And a little bit extra. So, and I think it's an action. I think it appeals to across the board, because it's an action film which you can, like a guy can take his girlfriend to.
Okay, but at the same time,
because because there's a love story in
That's
it,
right.
which is and there's sort of there's
also like
the conflict,
the feel good factor,
the conflict, the police, at home, the kind of
so all in one,
cops
really
might have with their wives.
Okay, you never know, right? Okay, so there you go.
It has also.
Okay, thanks a lot for today's Ahim. And with that, we'll end today's interview. Thanks so much for watching The Nation. I'm Tamina Kausji with Dr. Zaim Al-Bakri. Go watch Temuan Takdir, 11th of August, 2016.